I was 36 at the time, happy gay man, living with my loving partner for 14 years. We'd moved away from Sydney and we're living in Newcastle, and we're just about to start renovating our dream house. Everything was going perfect, keeping the virus under control. The only thing was I had the resilient wart that was on my ass. I had tried everything to get rid of it, except for going to the doctor, because that would have been too embarrassing because mine was a female doctor at the time. So I let it go. I let it go and go and go, and it grew. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And when it grew, it seemed to grow at quite a fast pace. So it was time to suck it up and let the doctor have a look. So with embarrassment and in trepidation, I dropped my trousers, I let her have a look at it. A biopsy was done, and then the news, the bad news. I had let it go too late. Due to male ego and embarrassment, I had let that wart turn into anal cancer. Who knew? I'd never heard of anal cancer. I had no idea that warts could turn into anal cancer, that cancer of the anus was possible. My head was spinning. I let it go too late. Due to my embarrassment, due to male ego, I had let that wart grow into cancer. Who knew that a wart could turn into cancer? Anal cancer. I had no idea. It's now 2003 and I know all about the papillomavirus. A little late. And I was also told that at 36, it was very rare for somebody as young as 36 to contract this rare cancer. Well, that didn't make me feel any better at the time. I was sent to see a doctor and I was told that radical chemotherapy and radiation was needed, which was better than the alternative, a colostomy bag. So with a strong mental attitude, I can do this. So I was sitting in a radiation clinic in Newcastle. I was hoping, thinking, wanting for another way to save my beloved T cells that had been working so hard for so long from complete and utter annihilation. I wasn't ready. I ran out the door. I ran to my doctor. I pled my case. He sent me to a surgeon, and after meeting with the surgeon, we had a chat, and it was advised that surgery was the way to go for now, to go in and to cut out what active cancer they could, and then to go in every 6 months for biopsies, checkups, more surgeries to remove more active cancer. This went on for 4 years. 4 years of playing cat and mouse and the mental torture of one hand being happy to be alive, the other hand of the pain and discomfort of the biopsies, the stitchings, of having to go to the toilet. I came up with many an inventive solution of going to the toilet and keeping clean. It's now 2007 and we're living back in Sydney, which in hindsight was a great choice. Everything was going great and we're even keeping this awkward and embarrassing cancer in check. Been to all my doctors, been to all checkups, everything was going fine, but in December I was advised it was time to get rid of this aggressive cancer once and for all. It's time for the chemotherapy and the dreaded radiation. But the good news, it's not to start until January, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Well, it's February and it's 4 weeks before my 40th birthday, and I'm off to see the oncologist to discuss the chemotherapy treatment. I was told that it would be a course that would last for 6 weeks. There'd be 2 different types, one taken orally, which is easy, and the other one would be given to me in hospital in a drip. I was told of the side effects, which would be no hair loss, which was great, the nausea, the diarrhea, the lack of energy, generally feeling poorly. It all sounds familiar. I can do this. I can do this. I was also told that my energy levels would be low. I was also told that the chemicals would still be in my system for 7 weeks after treatment. I was advised on how to manage the nausea, the pain, and the good news was that for the first 2 weeks should be sick-free. The bad news was that my T cells were going to plummet but I am more resilient than this bloody cancer. So with a strong mental attitude, I can do this. Then to see the radiologist. A scary day indeed. I was advised that the radiation treatment would last for 30 days of how the radiation targets the cancer, how it blasts them. I was advised on the side effects, which were, again, burns, some hair loss, pubic hair loss, diarrhea, feeling poorly, lack of energy, the same as all the others. I was also told that the burning wouldn't happen for the first 10 days. I had to go and be measured, aligned and weighed on this intimidating machine, lying there totally naked, being measured and marked by nurses with both sexes, having your manhood moved around from side to side. There's no time for humility here. But you do it. You lie there, you get lined, you get marked, you get tattooed, you do everything you're supposed to do because you've got to get through this, and you do get through it. I was told that my anus was going to be treated. Well, that made sense. It was my anal cancer they were treating. That's all that was mentioned. It was also mentioned that those creative ways that I had come up with of going to the toilet and keeping clean were going to come in very handy. Well, what happened? I started my chemotherapy, and for the first week, I didn't notice anything except for being told that I was toxic, so it was full flushing of the toilet. Could it be that easy? Then to start the radiation. I was waiting in a backless gown, which, okay, that made sense because they're going to be zapping my bum. That's where my anal cancer is. So I was waiting there and my name was called. Are you ready? And I answered with a cracked yes. It was at this time I learnt more about it. She said, so you know that we're going to radiate your back, your front, your pelvis and your thighs. No, I didn't know that. My head was spinning. As I said, I'm not a doctor, but I am a smart man. So I knew that those burns that the radiologist had told me that were going to happen on my bum had to happen to the front. My dick is going to be fried, and it's going to be fried badly. I can remember hearing lymph nodes mentioned, but by then all I was hearing was blah, blah, blah. I wasn't thinking of how it would affect me in the future, and I certainly wasn't thinking of how it would affect my sex life in the future. So when I go, drop the gown, exposed again, and have to lie on a cold, light bed machine, which is naturally it's colder than the room. And then I try to make polite conversation as they adjust me, all of me, moving my manhood from side to side, and then don't move. Everyone leaves the room and is safe behind radiation-proof glass, and then the soft chimes try to mask the wah, wah, wah of the warning alarm. Fuck, this is real, it's scary, and it's only the beginning. So lying there, perfectly still, as not wanting any extra bit zapped, I can hear the machine doing its thing underneath me for only a minute, which seems a lot longer. So I lay there, perfectly still, and I wait, pensively as the machine lines itself over the top of me. And it's at this time I make friends with it. I name him Ray, because after all, we're going to be seeing each other for 30 days, and I'm going to be naked the whole time. I was also told at this time how there would be a team of amazing nurses that would help me get through it. They would supply me with gauzes and gels, a special solution made especially for burn victims. And also there would be plenty of pain medication for the pain relief that you will need, and it does work. The good news is that the radiation burns won't show for the first 10 days, so you've enjoy them. You've got 2 weeks of not being sick and 10 days of not burning. Make the most of them. 2 weeks pass and it begins. Start to feel poorly and the throwing up has started and the first signs of the burning has appeared and the pubic hair is falling out. Gradually it gets worse. Feeling sick, being sick. Going to the toilet is something to be feared and just trying to get comfortable is almost impossible. But I have to go in for more radiation, knowing it's only going to make it worse. But there's no backing out. The course must be finished. So painfully I get there. Reluctantly I lay down for more. Then to the wonderful nurses for some brilliant pain medication that really works. And to be trussed up like a Christmas turkey, and I manage somehow to waddle out. The pain gets worse. I can't believe this is happening to me. My manhood is being fried, and it's happening from the inside out. I have blisters on and inside my penis and all around my anal area. Ouch! Now going to the toilet is a screaming nightmare. Feeling ill from the chemotherapy is nothing compared to the burns. Laying in a hospital bed, ill from the chemo, I was begging not to have the last zap, but it has to be done. So feeling like a lamb to the slaughter, I went in and I finished. However, I still have a couple of weeks of burning ahead. Then it will heal. And it will heal. So I wait. Weeks passed and somehow that red, inflamed, blistered, sore-covered mess was gone. And I could recognise my penis and not dread going to the toilet. The nurses were right. It does heal. And amazingly, it looks the same. I wish I could say that was my happy ending, but that comes later. There's a little more to something I found out after the fact that would affect me just as much and hit me much harder. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it happened to me. The radiation has a side effect. Fibrosis, a thickening of the arteries at the base of the penis. So erectile dysfunction, or impotency, is now my beast of burden. So everything on the outside is healed and healed well. I can wear pants again, walk comfortably, sit with ease, and even hit the dance floor. However, my libido sure isn't working and I can't get an erection. So the saga continues, as if I haven't been through enough. Okay, so a few things happened to me that hopefully may not happen to you. Make sure. Because with every visit and every consult I went with my radiologist, not once was my crutch mentioned. I was all told about the anal cancer and the effects of anal cancer and that I was having radiation for my anal cancer. Not once was anything mentioned about the front. I didn't ask the questions. I wasn't aware. I found out afterwards. So don't let this happen to you. Ask the questions. Take a friend with you. 2 pairs of ears are much better than 1 pair. Write your questions down. Anything that you forget, write them down afterwards and ask. Make sure that you know where the radiation is going to be happening to your body, all of your body. So within the 12 months after treatments and after going to all checkups with all male doctors, still no mention of fibrosis or erectile dysfunction. Maybe they didn't know about it, and maybe they were waiting for me to tell them. But the male ego is still strong and is not prepared to admit to anything wrong. Not yet. So for almost 12 months, I shut myself out from the world. On one hand, I was grateful to be alive. On the other hand, I was angry, I was mad, I felt hollow because one part of me, a major part of me, was gone, and I thought it was going to be gone forever. So even though I had a loving partner who I was physically shutting out on and verbally taking my frustrations out on, my life seemed to be falling apart. I stopped going out, I stopped listening to music because everything had a sexual overtone to it. Sex was everywhere except for in my life, and I had no solutions. I had no one to talk to about it. I snapped at a poor guy selling pink ribbons door to door. In one of my worst days, the poor guys knocked on the door to get support for breast cancer, and he copped me. Angry, depressed, me. So I was looking for answers, so it was time to Google. Don't do it. Don't do it. I Googled and it was all about the fabulous Farrah Fawcett, God bless her. There was nothing about my cancer. There was certainly no mention of radiation to the anus or to the testicles or to the penis. So I Googled effects of radiation on the penis and the testicles. That only fueled my depression and my anxiety. I read that depending on how much radiation you get, which isn't usually applied there, but depending on how much, and I had 30 days, I had a lot, erectile dysfunction or impotency could be permanent. Well, everything's out of control. I'm angry. I'm hostile. I'm not who I used to be. I needed answers. I wanted answers. I had to find them. So I went to see my GP. I asked him if my testosterone levels were low, perhaps. We got them checked, and they were. And then slowly a course of testosterone injections were given, and my energy levels improved, but the libido didn't. So still seeking answers, I went and found another doctor, this time a specialist in erectile dysfunction. I went to see him and I was met with understanding, and more importantly, I was met with a solution. I was told that I wasn't the only one going through this, that there are so many guys, more than you would realise, that are going through this, and that it's maybe not a permanent thing. There is help out there. I was told, of course, of Cialis tablets that which you could take, which would be taken daily. I was also told of Cavaject injections, which is an injection that you inject into the base of your penis, which sounds scary, and it is. But after going through hell and back, boys, we can do this. So, and the great news about that is it works. So again, I could enjoy the pleasures of feeling flesh on flesh. I could go out, listen to music, and be happy. Me personally, I didn't feel that I was being heard from my GP, so I got another one. And after being recommended by a friend, I found myself another doctor, and things were different this time. He listened. He seemed to generally care about my well-being and getting me back to how I used to be. After me fighting the fight against the antidepressants, I listened to him, and he made sense to me. He said with everything that I had been through, that my body, my mind was sort of out of whack, and they needed a break. It was suggested that to take them just for 6 to 12 months. Time to chill out. Then, oh my God, wow. I didn't realise just how angry, how bitter, and how I was looking to blame anybody. The difference I noticed within 6 to 3 months, and I am pleased to say that I'm getting back to who I used to be. I can again, my sex life is great. I can have sex now with only the aid of a tablet, no more injections. I can go out, I can go to clubs, I can be with friends, and I'm even hitting the dance floor again. I'm doing all the things I was doing before. And now the happy ending. It's 3 years on, and I have no visible signs of cancer, and I'm well on the way to being cancer-free. And to think that all this pain, all the discomfort, and the depression, all could have been avoided with one vaccination. Ridiculous. Okay, so some creative ways of going to the toilet. Wet toilet paper is going to be your best friend. Don't even try to use dry, because it will stick and it will scrape and pull. Wet toilet paper, if you have a tap near you or a small bowl, toilet paper, a lot of it. Wad it up and dab and dab. Don't wipe. Dab, dab, gentle dabbing. Also a plastic bowl that fits inside your toilet bowl with the seat down. You sit that inside the toilet bowl, some salt water in there, and after you've done your business, and sit and rinse and rinse and rinse. Get your wet toilet paper, dab, dab, you're done. Also, boys, you want to keep your undies nice and clean? Panty liners are the way to go. Not pads, thin panty liners. Line your underwear with them. It creates a soft cushioning effect and also saves any nasty, uncomfortable, sticky, messy situations. Some advice for guys going through it. Let your neighbours know. I know men, we're a private species and we don't like to broadcast our own personal business. However, your neighbours that live close to you need to know what's going on, because there will be times, and it may be 3 o'clock in the morning, that they are going to hear you screaming, yelling in pain. It's best that they know that you are doing the best that you can to save your life, that you're going through something, going through cancer, and that you're not having a domestic and the dog's fine, and that the yelling will pass. Also, my mother also told me some great advice. Sometimes if people don't know what to say, they'll say nothing. So don't be surprised if people don't say anything about your anal cancer. It's a cancer they don't know about. It's an awkward, embarrassing for cancer for most people to talk about, so they won't mention it. So you do it. Tell them, ask me how my bum's doing.